Hi friends, Itheria here, and I'd like to start off by apologizing about the sound quality of this video. There's a lot of people home right now, and the birds are chirping really loud, and funny thing, I can't actually EQ the birds out because if I do, it messes with the quality of my voice, so apparently me and birds are like on the same wavelength here. But anyways, it is what it is. I'll throw some background music in, it'll be fine. So on to what this video is actually about. I've been seeing a lot of complaining on Twitter recently. Complaints about the lack of relic grind, complaints about the Lalafell lifter, complaints about the new short hair with a complimentary 5-head. Even I have been retweeting things that are essentially complaints, and Lord knows I've done plenty of complaining on this channel. Complaints are important. They let the devs know what direction we want the game and its content to go in. But I think sometimes we get caught up in complaining and forget to acknowledge the good parts of the game, the parts that the devs should be really proud of. So today I want to talk about some of the things I really like about Final Fantasy XIV. Let's just get started. I'm sure this comes as no surprise, but one of my very favorite things about this game is easily the glamour. There's so much to choose from and so many different styles. You can wear something casual and pretty or something badass and fantasy styled. And thanks to the Gpose feature, you can easily get a great shot of your character in their outfit. I feel like many of the other MMOs I've played did not nearly have as nice of a camera system as 14. Gpose, paired with all the amazing emotes in this game, allows for a lot of freedom and creativity in what is essentially in-game photography. Honestly, without these things, my videos would look a whole lot different. It's thanks to systems like Gpose and the emotes that I'm even able to make skit-like videos, and I find that really cool. Another thing I love about this game is the story. Coming from a mostly MMO background, I'm not actually used to playing games with good stories. I'm far more used to skipping them. I would easily say the story is one of my favorite things about this game, and I always feel a little sad when I finish and have to wait for the next patch. Speaking of the story, it is accompanied by some of the best music I've heard in a video game probably ever. I still cry whenever I hear certain songs from Endwalker. But it's not even just the MSQ music that's good. They're popping out bangers left and right for Alliance and Savage raids. We're lucky to have Soken and the rest of the musical producers who make Final Fantasy XIV's music what it is. Next, I want to applaud the sheer variety of content we have to play in Final Fantasy XIV. There's casual content such as the story and side quests and the lore from all those quests, housing, roleplay, crafting, island sanctuary. There's also some relatively casual battle content such as normal dungeons, raids, and trials, variant dungeons, deep dungeons, Eureka and Bajda, past and present relic farms, and of course, just leveling all your jobs to 90. Finally, we have the more difficult content such as the Criterion dungeons, extreme trials, savage raids, and ultimate raids. I really think there's something for everyone in this game. Even though there's a lot of content to play, you're not forced to do it. There are minimal chores in this game. Sure, you can do the roulettes if you want to, but you don't really have to. Most people just farm their weekly 450 capped tomestones, which you can probably do in like 2 or 3 hunt trains, which would take up maybe a little bit more than an hour of your time every week. I just like that there are no chores you're absolutely forced to do, so you can pretty much do whatever you want. Along those same lines, there's really no rat race. I think other games compel you to grind and gear up, or you can't even join some of the endgame content. Final Fantasy XIV, on the other hand, is very lenient in that sense. Not only is the gear practically handed to you for you to meet eye levels for content like Extreme or even Savages, gear in this game hardly matters. Some of you may disagree, but let me explain. As long as you have the minimum item level for the content that you want to do, that's all you actually need. Yes, better gear means better survivability and damage, but outside of Savage and Ultimate, that doesn't really matter. Furthermore, Best in Slot in this game has very little application. You won't even get Best in Slot until you've cleared the current raid tier, and if you're lucky, you'll use it for re-clears. If you're me, you'll get Best in Slot on the very last run your group does of the final fight in the Savage tier. So you don't even use Best in Slot to prog your way through Savage. What is it for? Ultimate. That's it. That's really the only content that you need Best in Slot for. And there's a very small portion of players that even do ultimates. The fact that the gear requirements aren't strict means that you don't have to slave away for gear. You can actually just enjoy the game however you please without having to be forced to worry about whether you're geared up enough to do the latest dungeon. The next thing that I love about this game is the fact that you can actually take breaks. I feel like there's very little FOMO being pushed at you. The other thing is that 14 naturally has content lulls. It has for pretty much as long as I've played, which is about 3 years now. Some people see these as a bad thing, but I like that they give me the opportunity to play other games or do other things with my time. I'm not trapped in FOMO, chores, or any other type of grind that MMOs typically push at you. I can actually leave and come back, and it's no big deal. If you are worried about taking a long break and being confused about the game and all its fancy new features and content when you finally come back to it, don't be. Why? Because the in-game community here is really stellar. People actually seem to enjoy helping both newcomers and returning players. Like I said, I have a history as an MMO player, and this is the nicest in-game community I have ever come across. And finally, the last thing I'd like to say about this game is that it is versatile in the sense that you can kind of be a solo player, or you can choose to play with friends. Yes, it is an MMO and the point is to play with other people, but I like that Final Fantasy XIV is pretty flexible with this. They've made it easier to solo the MSQ by using the trust system, and I really like that. I like to be able to take my time and explore the dungeon the first time I encounter it in the story, and that doesn't always happen when you queue in with other players. Obviously, there is some content that you absolutely can't do alone, like raids, but if you don't join a Discord call and you group up with randoms, then it kind of does still feel like you're playing alone. I just think it's great that there is a fair bit of content that you can do by yourself if you prefer to. And that's it! Those are some of my favorite things about Final Fantasy XIV and what I think makes it a truly fantastic MMORPG. Please leave your favorite things about 14 in the comments below. As always, I implore you to leave a sacrifice for Lord Algorithm in the form of a like, comment, share, or subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!